Welcome to the first video of the tutorial Christmas pattern from the series A Traditional Christmas. Before starting out, I want to mention that we have divided this tutorial into three parts: the background, the secondary elements, and the primary elements. We suggest you watch all the videos before painting, and while you are painting, watch the videos related to the part you are painting to refresh what you have learned. Also remember that if you have any doubts, you can leave us a question in the discussion tab that you will find below this video. In this video, we are going to paint the background that covers the splash and the smallest elements of our composition, which are the berries, the stars, and the star anise. Here is the list of the colors we used on our painting. You don't need to use exactly the same brands or tones. You just need to use a similar tone to the one we use if you want to get a similar result. The watercolors tones you will need are bright yellow, bright red, dark red, brown, dark brown, black. The color pencils tones you will need are wine white. Let's begin. Splashed. Start by splashing the background in brown. Prepare the mixture quite concentrated, but still make sure it is watered down, so your splash is dark and the drops are medium. It also helps to use the large brush. The larger the brush, the more capable it is of handling a large load of paint. And to splash, tap the brush with the handle of another brush. The idea is to make it look like we sprinkled cinnamon. Before it dries, wash the brush and use it moist to clean the areas you don't want them to be splattered, like on the top of the candy canes and leaves. We are cleaning the splashes because we want them to be in the background and not on top of the elements. If we leave them and paint on top with a light color, they will be seen. Take into account that there will be times when you will have to pass the wet brush several times to erase the splatter well. Berries. Start by painting the smallest element, which are the berries. Paint them in red and leave a little blank space for the light. To know where to place the light, we define it that it comes from the upper left side. Before they dry, with a dark red, paint the shadow on the opposite side of the light. When you are done with them, let them dry. To shape them, outline them with a wine-colored pencil. As we mentioned, we divided this tutorial in 3 steps. To do so, we paint one part at a time. Now, we want to be transparent with our process, and in reality, we don't work like that. We like to paint everything with watercolor first, let it dry for a day, and then we start with the color pencils. It makes more sense for us to follow this process since most of the times I am the one that paints with watercolors, so I want to focus on finish my part and then Katy paints the rest with the color pencils. However, we noticed that it is easier to digest and to find the content when we present it focusing on one part at a time. If you want to paint it as we did on this tutorial, make sure to protect the drawing when you are painting with color pencils. We don't use a lot of color pencils for this tutorial, so there won't be much of a problem. Stars. The second element to paint is the star. Paint it with a bright yellow. Before it dries, outline them with brown using the tip of the brush or a thin brush. This will allow both paints to blend, since we don't want the color to be uniform. To make it look less uniform, add a bit of a brown on the ends of the stars and drag it to the center carefully. Finally, once the star dries, paint the light with the white colored pencil. For that, draw a line very close to the edge on one of the sides of each tip of the upper left side of the star. Star anise. The third element you are going to paint is the star anise. To not lose sight of the shape you drew, start by outlining it with brown. Make one side of the point thicker than the opposite and paint a small triangle inside each tip. Then, with the same brown but more diluted, paint inside the star anise, leaving the tips and the center lighter. Let it dry and outline it with a fine brush and dark brown, making one side thicker than the other, and paint a petal shape on the inside, with both ends dark. Once dry, with the white colored pencil, highlight the lights inside each petal shape. And here is the final result. Congratulations, you finished the background. When you are ready, see you in the next video to paint more elements.